Good afternoon everybody, welcome to Glossop Wild Camping. Well, it's a Wednesday and I've managed to get off work a bit earlier today and I'm making my way from Glossop up to Lower Shelfstones tonight, a place I've been to quite a few times, but it's probably one of the nearer places to camp. And I'm back at work again in the morning, so it makes sense to go somewhere where I can get back within 2 hours. I must admit I'm not feeling so great at the moment. Spiritually, great. I feel the joy of the Lord, which is my strength, but physically and possibly mentally a little bit below par at the moment. I just don't seem to be able to get a proper night's sleep, and when I do get a better sleep I still wake up in the morning feeling just drained of energy, and I'm not the only one. A lot of people that I know have said the same. Mentally I just feel exhausted as well, and strangely enough just a sense that things aren't well in the world. I know it doesn't take a rocket scientist to work out that fact. However, I can feel the tension as I'm walking around even Glossop, which is, you know, a semi-rural small town really. There's just this sense of frustration and anger and irritability. People are on edge, snapping at the slightest thing, it seems. Really strange days we're living in. And Satan would have it so, to be fair. And all his minions. The UK government. So yeah, lots of strain and stress. So to come out here today, I'm hoping will give me a nice, much needed release. We're pretty much in the centre of the screen there. That's Lower Shelfstones. You can see just below the highest point there, there's shelf benches, which is like the cliffs you can see, a large quarry, and I'm just about to make my way up this path here, which is called Lightside. And this is a route that is very dear to me. Once we get up to the top of here and it starts to level out, we're going to be walking along the Yellow Slacks Valley, which is one of my favourite places in the immediate vicinity, and the views from there are amazing. And the idea is that I'm going to come back over Lower Shelfstones, back down the main path, and we're going to go over the top of shelf benches and head towards Ferny Hole in the morning, weather permitting that is. And then the idea is I'm going to get a proper video documentation of Ferny Hole, because I've only taken pictures in the past and talked about it. Plus there was the one video where I was in the right area but got the wrong hole. So tomorrow morning I'll show you it. Anyway, let's crack on with this climb here. Energy levels are low, so this may take some time. Loving these beautiful autumn colours. The greens, the yellows, the rusty colours. Lovely. Now I'm just zooming in now to a disused quarry, and the name of this hill is called Cock Hill, and you may remember that from one of the videos where I did walk up that way and did a drone flight around the area as well. Anyway, we need to continue up Lightside. The top is just up there where you can see the bit of ramshackle dry stone wall that's left. So once we get up there we'll get some nice views. Just quickly looking back there at the view over Old Glossop and the wooded hill there, Shire Hill. And if I zoom in about here you should see the A57 Snake Pass as it snakes its way through all these beautiful hills and moors. And moving to the left, this valley here, I'm not quite sure the name of the actual valley, but I do know that the Doctor's Gate path goes through that valley and basically takes you to the highest point of the A57, where you can then access Featherbed Top, make your way over using the Pennine Way path to Kinder, or you can go left up towards Bleaklow, and there's higher shelf stones peeking over the top in the middle of the picture there. Here we are at the start of the Yellow Slacks Valley, just starting to open up there in the middle of the picture. The path skirts along the edge basically and around the top, and the next feature I'll probably film at will be Dog Rock, because once we're at Dog Rock we can see where we'll be going tomorrow morning, and the views from there are superb. Well, that's Dog Rock over there. I'll be there in literally 1 or 2 minutes walk. We can see now that the Yellow Slacks Valley is opened up beautifully. You can actually hear it as it's trickling down, so it's in good flow today. Yellow Slacks Brook, and just move us along the valley here. Well, this part of the walk is not the best, to be honest. It's a bit arduous underfoot. You may not look it, but if you look around, it's basically clods of grass and heather, peat, and I'm walking along what's going to become a clough. So in the middle of it, you've got a narrow stream, channel of water that's meandering down it, and sometimes it's hidden by grass, so you find yourself stepping down into a hole if you're not careful. So yeah, this is the last push to the campsite now. So I reckon another 10 minutes, maybe 15 at most, and I should be at site, which will be a very welcome sight as well. Well, here we are. This is where I love to camp. The spot I'm standing on here, this area here, is basically where I'm going to put my tent. Rocks behind me which are adding a little bit of a buffer to the wind, which is coming from right behind me at the moment. Just a spectacular place, the views, the ambience. So even though it took a bit longer to get here today, with me being a little bit below par, we got here in the end. Later on, once I've set up the tent, spent a bit of time possibly having a brew, I'm going to head over that way and we'll have a look at lower shelf stones themselves. They can be pretty spectacular, but I want to get set up first, and hopefully there'll be enough light to do that. If not, I've got a head torch. Right, I'm going to get pitched up. The time is now 6:20. So I'm thinking, just while we've got the last few minutes of daylight, I'll wander over to lower shelf stones, have a look there, and then I'll come back here and probably get a brew on and start to relax. It's been a much anticipated relaxation period. I can't wait for it. It's going to be mint. As you can see, we're all set up in here, nice and neat and tidy. Loads of room, and I've got my cooking apparatus in the vestibule on the other side of the tent there. As you can see, these pockets are enormous in this tent. They go all the way along both sides of the tent, so all my stuff's out of the way, leaving loads of room for leisurely relaxation. Oh, we're waxing, we're tweed. Right, I'll zip this up and we'll walk down to the edge of lower shelf stones. A bit of rain coming now. That very fine drizzle you often get up here. Higher Shelf Stones is right over there. I'm not sure whether you're able to make out the trig point or not, but it's approximately in the centre of the screen. Well, although the temperature's not supposed to go below about 12 tonight, the wind chill here, certainly on the edge here, is quite significant. Really cold. I've got my hat on, and I must admit I need my gloves on as well. But just loving those beautiful rocks. So it's time to make tracks back to the tent and start getting some brews going on. It's time to retire. It's just gone 10 p.m. I just feel like a nice early night and things are looking good for a good night's sleep. Conditions seem pretty good really. There's a wind, but it's nothing too major, not making too much noise, so I think I should sleep well without having to put earplugs in, but we'll see. Anyway, on that note, I'll bid you a good night and see you guys first thing in the morning. Let's have a look at what we got. I think we know what we've got because I've heard it all night. Yes, rain and clag. And looking at the forecast, it's not set to change, so it'll be a case of when I get lower down whether I'll bother with going to Ferny Hole or not, because if it's just raining and clag, I'm not so sure I'm in the mood for that. Anyway, the next thing is to turn my attention to a brew. I'll just show you out this little window here as well. You can see the clag rolling over the moors. I actually slept quite well last night. I got off to sleep fairly quickly, probably about 10:30, 11, and then woke up about 5 for a wee, and then about 7 o'clock started to stir, had a bit more of a snooze, and it's now just gone 8 o'clock. Okay, so that's where I was pitched, just to prove I've left no trace. Looking around, it's still clagged out. Very fine rain. So unless it improves dramatically, I think I'm just going to go back home. Or not home, to the office. So anyway, beautiful camp. Still enjoyed that massively. Slept really quite well. Because I went to sleep about, I don't know, between 10 and half past, it just felt like I've had like about 9 hours sleep. So it's probably about the best I've ever felt on the morning of a camp. So at least I've got some good energy levels today, so which is an awesome start. Right, I'll crack on. If there's anything to show you, obviously you'll see that on the video. So I decided to go to Ferny Hole after all, even though we're in the clag and the fog. I know the route fairly well. Basically it's a case of staying fairly near a fence line and tracing it down. So these are where the rocks are that I pointed out yesterday when we were on the other side of Yellow Slacks. And Ferny Hole is not too far from here, so let's have a little look about. Keep seeing the heads of pheasants pop up every so often, and you can hear them protesting as I walk around this place. And I think this is it. This is definitely it. Now thankfully I've come with all my waterproofs on today, so I'm quite happy to go inside. So I'll leave my bag out here and I'll see you in there. Okay then, so here we are. Ferny Hole. Let's go inside. Not much room, there's probably about, at this point, maybe just over a foot of width. So it takes a bit of squeezing. Doesn't go very far, the passageway basically probably goes no more than about maybe 30 foot. It's pretty wet in here, as you can imagine, and it's fairly muddy on the floor. Bit of a squeeze to get to the last part down there. That doesn't actually go anywhere. This is basically the end here. There's no point going down into there. It doesn't go any further. And it bends to the left here, and you can see it goes a bit further down there. But again, not that far. Probably another, from here, another 15 foot to the end there. And over here we have the visitor book. Now whether there's any working pens I don't know, but I like to sign my name here if I can. Everything's very, very damp, so you're kind of wasting your time really. What's this? Does that work? What's that? No, doesn't really work. So inside there we've got a knackered old torch which obviously won't work. Doesn't even switch on. So nice thought, but it's never going to last down here in these conditions. So just showing you down there to the very end. It'd be too much of a hassle because of this thin rock here that's in the way. But that's the end right over there. So it's still a pretty amazing feature. You can see up in the cracks there, all that, I assume that's condensation, unless it's some sort of fungus or something, I'm not sure. But yeah, really interesting little place. Shame it doesn't go any further, but still, what more do you want? I'll show you coming back towards the entrance in a second when I've turned round. So that's looking the other way, going back towards the entrance now. See, it goes back in there a little bit as well, right at the entrance. Not noticed that before. Again, doesn't go anywhere, you can tell. But here we are. So now I've got to crawl back up these lovely slippy rocks here, back to the light of day. Well, the relative light of day. Pretty miserable out there. All good, all good. So coming down to the rocks, there's these other two holes here. I'll show you the first one. I have actually been in there. That goes in a fair way, but it's very twisty and turny. So I don't think I'm going to bother with that today. I've already got pretty dirty from going in Ferny Hole, so I'll probably leave that one. And then the other one is literally behind it over here, and this one is even tighter to get in. I couldn't believe that I even got in at all last time because I'm not small. So here we go down here. That one doesn't go in very far at all, But yeah, fascinating place. And also because it's really quite off the beaten track, if you want some isolation, this is pretty much always your own when you come here. I don't think that many people know about it. But be very careful, these rocks are pretty treacherous with all this wet lichen and moss on them. But yeah, you go, that's the last little look at the area there. In fact, I might just go to the end now and just show you around those cliffs, and then I'll make a move back. The intention is to go back over shelf benches today. So that should be fun in this fog. So normally there'd be a lovely view from here to Dog Rock on the other side of Yellow Slacks Valley. You can actually hear the brook flowing, but nothing to see. So I'm just over at the end where the sort of larger rocks are. I'll just show you those quickly before I make my move. I do wonder underneath all this rubble here where there's probably more passages. It's that kind of area. Even walking past the cliffs there, I did notice another little triangular shaped hole that was blocked by rubble, but that could have been another one. So yeah, fascinating stuff. Guess we'll never know. Right, time to make my way back. Well, we'll say goodbye to shelf benches now. We've come out of the clag, but there's still moisture in the air. So I'm on the last straight now. From here to Old Glossop, it'll probably be about 40 minutes, perhaps even 30 minutes. So it's probably worth signing off at this point. So thank you so much for watching. Looking forward to camping with Tim in early November, and I'll see you all then. God bless, take care.